안녕하세요. Welcome to Talk to Me in Korean. This is another live class for everybody. All right, so let me just check a few things before I start. And this is my screen. I have my comments here. I have my notes here. All right, so I think it all looks good. I hope you can hear me well. 잘 들리시죠? Do let me know, as usual, that you can hear me well if you can. So today we're going to be reading a story, and unfortunately, we won't be able to read the whole story. It's a very, very interesting story that I really, really enjoyed reading myself. It's part of our Talk to Me in Korean Stories app. By the way, if you're new to our Stories app, you can click on the link below to get it and try it for free for 7 days. And yes, I picked this story because it is in level 4. And the story's title is 신기한 빵집. So let me show you. Yeah. 신기한 빵집. 신기한 is mysterious or interesting. It's one of those words that can be translated into many things depending on the context, or sometimes doesn't really translate well enough. So 신기한 빵집. Mysterious bakery, I'll call it that. In this class. And then we're going to be reading part 1, 2, and 3. So if you stick together until the end of this class, you will have read this much in Korean. 끝까지 같이 공부하시면 이만큼 읽게 되는 거예요. And this story is really interesting. It has 10 parts, so we won't be able to go over all 10 parts in this live class unless we make it 3 hours or 4 hours long. And I've been thinking about that, maybe in the future, in the near future, we can do a 3-hour live class and make it, it won't be as packed with everything, all the lessons, mini tiny lessons here and there if it's going to be really long, but maybe there's a merit in doing something really long. Maybe you can bring your own stuff and I can bring my own, study material, something like that. I was maybe thinking about doing a really long live class. Okay, so today it's going to be about an hour or 90-minute-ish, I hope, so that you can actually get a lot from the class. 오늘 수업은 60분, 그리고 60분에서 한 90분 정도 할 것 같아요. I want to make it beginner friendly. I want to make it useful for everybody of different levels. So I will go into some details about essential grammar here and there, but also offer additional information for intermediate learners and even advanced speakers, as we usually try to do in our live classes. And I am trying a different typing interface here. So let me know if it's better. If you are a regular live class participant, let me know if this kind of typing software is better than the other one that we were using. Okay, and which book is it from? It's actually from our app. Let me know if you can see this. So this is our app, Talk to Me in Korean Stories. This is my first time trying this iPhone mirroring kind of thing. So yeah, this is the inside of our app. And when you go there, you can actually check that, you can see that it has 10 different levels. And instead of going to level 10 and read these stories, you see that I haven't read these stories yet. But I do know the content, of course. And in level 4, we have this many stories. Okay. These are all like linked stories, and therefore these are called series. And articles are standalone independent texts that you can read, not related to each other. In the series, we are going to be reading 신기한 빵집. It has 10 stories. I had to go through everything to see how it ends, the ending. And then once you read something, you can listen to the stories that you actually read before, like an audiobook, and then go to this section to, test your vocabulary, review. And then you can see your progress here. So inside the story, you will see this much text for each portion. So this is what we're going to read together little by little. I have turned off audio here, but in each story, you can listen to professional voice actor narrating each line. And then if you click on a bold word, you can actually listen to the key word and then add it to your vocabulary list so you can review it later. And then we're going to go over to the quiz section later together and then do the quiz after we have read everything. All right. Thank you, Brienne, for saying that the recent update was great. The new practice session is helping your typing skills as well as your reading skills. That's amazing. All right. And OBJK says, I was just reading from it about an hour ago. Thank you. And Christine, thank you for saying that you love the Stories app. Yes, we are excited about the new update, and the whole team is, of course, really excited about what it can do for learners. So let's talk a little more about that later, but let's get right into the story. So what did I write here? 안녕하세요. Is the font size big enough for you? Is it okay? 안녕하세요. 어서 오세요. Hello. Welcome also is quickly, 어서. So you can ask somebody to hurry up. 어서 와, 어서 해. So you can actually use it in everyday regular sentences, but it is used inside of this fixed expression, 어서 오세요, 어서 오세요. So a lot of people think it's just one word, but it is actually two words, 어서 오세요. So it's kind of like you can't be here quick enough, you know? So 수업 시작할까요? 수업, class 시작할까요? Shall we begin? 오늘은 as for today, 이 이야기를 같이 읽을 거예요. This story, object marker, 같이, together, we're going to read. All right. Big Bang edits. You're still a beginner, so you can't read that much, but you're only familiar with some words in Hangul. That's fantastic. That's fine. You can pick out some words that you can recognize here and there. That's where I am with some languages, and I try to watch stuff and read stuff, and it all usually clicks together later. Okay, let's begin for real. 신기한 빵집. So do I want to keep the text? Yeah, okay. I want to keep the text as is before we, yeah. So let me actually copy and paste everything once over here and then explain. So we can come back and read everything together as is. So 신기한 빵집. 신기하다, to begin with. 신기하다 is to be amazing, to be interesting, to be mysterious, to be unbelievable, everything. For example, you're trying to learn something and on a certain day, it just works, right? Your Korean skills are fantastic on a given day and you're like, oh, 신기해. Why is it working so well? 진짜 신기해. And you were drinking coffee and 1 minute it was full, the cup was full, but then all of a sudden it's gone. 신기해. You can't understand it. You don't understand what's happening. And then it's raining and then suddenly it's sunny. Oh, 신기해. Everything can be 신기해 when it's noteworthy. It's interesting, right? So the trap with the expression 신기하다 is because is that you can't go from, hey, home, it's mildly interesting, to 신기해. 신기해 has to be really interesting, really amazing. So 신기한 빵집, the mysterious 빵집. All right. 선아 is the person that we're talking about here, the character, main character. 선아는 아주 기분 나쁜 아침을 보냈어요. 선아는 보냈어요. 보내다 means to send in certain contexts, but in this case, because it's 아침, she had a morning. She spent a morning, but very 기분 나쁜. 기분 is your feeling. 나쁘다 is to be bad. So 기분 나쁘다 is a set expression to feel bad or to be bad, like to be upsetting, to be offensive too. 기분 나쁜. So as a set expression, it's a bad or upsetting kind of day or experience. 기분 나쁜 아침. So yeah, not a very good morning. She had a very bad morning. 아침에는 in the morning 알람을 듣지 못해서 늦게 일어났어요. So alarm is the alarm, morning alarm. 듣지 못해서 she couldn't hear the alarm. So this so part is therefore 늦게 일어났어요. So 늦다, to be late. 늦게, late as an adverb. You know this 게 is an adverb maker. So 늦게 일어났어요. I got up late. One common mistake that Korean speakers or Korean people make when they learn English is to translate 늦게 when they want to say that they did something late, they arrived late. They want to change it into the adverb form because late is an adjective as well. So they change it to lately because, we have this clear adverb form in Korean. So I arrived lately is what some people say when they're learning English as a Korean native speaker. It's because of this, because we have a very clear 게, like there, like ly. And then 회사에 늦지 않으려고 운전을 빨리 하다가 사고가 났어요. So here we can divide the sentence into 3 parts. 회사 is your company. 회사에 to or at 늦지 않으려고 so and so 으려고 is to or in order to. But because we have the 지 않다, which is the negative form, so 지 않으려고 is in order not to. 운전을 빨리 하다가, and this 다가 is while trying to do something. So all of these grammar points are introduced in our curriculum one by one. So you can definitely go check it out or study with our books to follow everything. 운전을 빨리 하다가, okay. 운전을 빨리 하다가 while driving fast. Okay. 사고가 났어요. 사고 is an accident. 나다 is to come out. And this nada is one of the most versatile Korean verbs that you can use with so many different nouns. So you will see other examples later on in this story. But in this case, 사고, just imagine an accident coming out of non-existence. Okay, it just comes out. So an accident happened. And another example is 생각이 나다. A thought comes out of non-existence. 생각이 났어요. It occurred to you. It occurred to me. 생각이 났어요. Okay? So she didn't want to be late for work. 회사. In English or in other languages, you don't say 회사, company all the time whenever you're referring to your job. But in Korean, 회사 is much more commonly used to refer to your job. Okay? You don't want to be late for your job. You don't want to be late to your office. There's other words that you can use, but in Korean, 회사 is just like very, very universally used. So she was trying to get to work in time, and then 사고가 났어요. So here also, what's funny is here the subject up until this point, she was the one, 선아 was the one that was doing things. But then now the subject changed mid-sentence. 사고 is the one that happened, right? When you want to, for example, keep it consistent, in Korean sentences, especially longer ones, this is very common. The fact that here, when you translate, I think it makes the job of translators really difficult sometimes, like especially simultaneous translators. So she was doing things and then an accident happened. If you want to keep it consistent and she caused an accident, you can say 사고를 냈어요. So 나다 is to come out or to happen. 내다 is the causative form, to make something come out, make something happen. 사고를 냈어요. All right. Okay. So she was trying to get to work really quickly and she had an accident. 사고가 났어요. And well, thank you for saying that you love our books, everybody. 감사합니다. Becky, Rachel. And yeah, if you click on the description and expand it, you will see a link to our Amazon page where you can get our books, or you can, if you prefer our online bookstore, you can go to our own online bookstore to get our books. For 2 days, I believe Amazon is having a discount on several book titles, and we are also included in that. So it's a good opportunity for you to get a discount there. So compare. From which platform will you get the best deal and will you get the books faster? All right. So what happened? She was driving fast and then she had an accident. Hopefully not a big one. 그리고 결국 and eventually 결국 in the end 회사에 늦게 출근했어요. 늦게 appearing one more time. Late, not lately. 회사에 늦게 출근했어요. 출근 is going to work. So 근 here means work. 출 plus 근. So 출 is go out to 근무, work. Okay, so 근무. 근무 is working. And then or 근로. And 퇴근. 퇴 means to leave in 한자. Chinese characters inside of the Korean language. 퇴 means to leave. So 퇴 can be used in many other words like 퇴원, leaving the hospital after being hospitalized. 퇴원. 퇴실, leaving the hotel room. 퇴실. Things like that. So 출근, 퇴근. 출근 is the opposite of 퇴근, and together your commute routes round trip together 출퇴근. And yeah, 출퇴근길, your commute basically. Yeah, 퇴장 is leaving the room or leaving the stage. 퇴장. Very good example. 회사에 늦게 출근했어요. So she was late for work. 그래서 so 다른 사람들이 other people, 다른 사람들이 선아의 일을 대신 해줘야 했어요. Okay, some grammar to kind of break down. So 일을 대신 하다, to do someone else's work in their place. 대신 is to replace somebody or to do something for someone in somebody's place. 대신하다. 해주다, to do something for the benefit of someone. 줘야 하다, to 아어여야 하다. So let's just type it like that. To have to. So everything combined. Other people had to do Sana's work in her place because she was late. Maybe there was something that had to be done really early in the morning. 선아는 너무 미안하고 속상했어요. So we have this really interesting expression 속상하다. 선아는 너무 미안했어요. She felt really sorry, bad. 속상하다 is the same thing. 속 is your inside. 속. Okay? What's a good example? 속. 서랍 속에 있어요. It's in the drawer. 서랍, 속. Okay? So, 속 is your inside. What does it mean? Basically, your inner feelings. And then, 상하다 is to rot, to go bad, like food to go bad. 음식이 상했어요. The food went bad. So imagine your inner feelings going bad, like your internal organs are like, going bad because you feel so bad. It's that level. 속상해요. And the pronunciation is 속상해요, 속상했어요. So 너무 미안하고 속상했어요. So 미안하다 is just a very regular, I guess, expression of saying I'm sorry, I feel bad. But 속상하다 is one level up. 속상해, 너무 속상해. Yeah, upset. Okay, some questions I see here about something that we mentioned earlier. 출퇴근길. Is 출퇴근길 talked about in terms of time, like in English? 네, 출퇴근길이. Or you can just say 출퇴근에 2시간 걸려요. Yeah, 출퇴근에 2시간 걸려요. For 출퇴근, it takes 2 hours. All right. So she felt really bad and she was upset that she had caused trouble for other people. 사고 때문에 차를 고쳐야 해서 화도 났어요. So she was also angry, upset, angry, because 사고 때문에, because of the accident, she had to fix her car. 고치다. To fix, to repair. Okay? 빨리 집에 가서 쉬고 싶었어요. 빨리, quickly, 집에 가서, go home and 쉬고 싶었어요. She wanted to rest. Here, in the beginning, I said 어서 오세요 to everybody. 어서 means, 어서 is in a hurry. Quickly, so you can actually rewrite the sentence as 어서 집에 가서 쉬고 싶었어요. Also equally very, very natural. 네, 어서 집에 가서 쉬고 싶었어요. It just depends on personal preference. 선아는 남편 영우에게 메시지를 보냈어요. 2 things that I want to mention here. First of all, 메시지. This is the standard pronunciation and spelling, but you will see many native speakers actually also typing 메시지, right? So 메시지. So you will see both versions. And here another thing is 선아는 남편 영우에게. So her husband 영우. So to her husband 영우, or to 영우 her husband. So here in this case, it's kind of like combining these two, this title and this name with a comma, but you can also, there's a way to say 영우, who is her husband, like that in Korean too. So in case you want to include back this who is part in Korean, you can actually use 남편인 영우에게. So yeah, I don't know if you've seen this before. Let me just have some coffee. I actually have a very weak throat. Many people don't know this because I do this for work. I've been on videos and I've done tons of broadcasting here in Korea, radio and TV. So I talk for work. And for somebody like that, I have a really weak throat, which means I lose my voice quite easily after talking for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Okay. So 남편인 영우에게. So this is one way to say who is 남편인 영우에게. Either is fine. Let me pause here before we move on to the text message part. Vendetta says, Korean is so detailed in every character, and I love that. Thank you. I agree with you. And Ananat says, I really appreciate how much we learn about words and their roots in your lessons. It makes it easier to remember and also help with future words with the same roots. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. And that's what we try to do. When you learn one thing from various angles, various perspectives, you remember it better. And even if you forget it, for now, it'll all come back because you are basically having a very enriched experience surrounding a certain expression. It's kind of like a indirect, vicarious experience of a certain situation. So yeah, 3D instead of 2D, 4D, right? 좋아요. So, what's the message here? 나 오늘 진짜 화나는 날이야. So, a few things to look at. 나, first of all, she's using casual language because she's texting her husband. Very natural and common. 오늘, today, 진짜, really, 화가 나다. 화를 내다. I hope you know the difference between these two. 화 is anger. 화가 나다 is anger arises. You feel anger kind of building up. You're not doing anything about it, but you feel angry. 화를 내다, because of the 내다 and 나다 difference, 내다 is doing something actively. 화를 내다 is to express your anger, vent it on somebody. 화를 내다 means you're shouting, yelling at somebody, kicking the door or something like that. 화를 내다. So 화가 나다. 화나는 날이야. So she's not getting mad at her husband. She's just saying that she's just angry today. 화나는 날. A day on which she is angry. Okay, so the on which part is all omitted here. I actually recently posted an Instagram reel both on my personal account and on Talk to Me Korean. It's a collab post, and there I talk about this 는, this nian part. It connects two words in both directions. It's really, really flexible. And then this part, how do you pronounce it? Why no iung for this part? Well, it's because this resembles somebody's tears falling down from two eyes. And people actually pronounce it as you, crying, you. It's just, the reason that it's pronounced as you is because the vowel is just you know. Ya, o, yo, o yo, u, you, e, like that. So even without the filler placeholder iung, so of course as a child, when Korean children learn their first language, which is Korean, aya, o, yo, o, yo, u, you, e, this is how they learn the vowels, with the placeholder iung. So yeah, so it's kind of like TT, but sab, but you. So people do actually write it like that and read it like you. And if you are using speech recognition, you're driving or you're just talking into your phone and let it write down, transcribe your spoken Korean, you can actually say you like that, and then it'll type it like this. Another so kiuk and hiut. This one as well. If you want to transcribe your spoken words when you're speaking in Korean, you don't want to text in Korean on your phone. You can just say k, and your phone will transcribe this one instead of. It won't write this. It'll actually write k, and then ha. It depends on the phone, but especially at least on an iPhone, if you will say ha in your transcribing text, if you say ha, it'll actually type hiut. So yeah, in a text message, this one it's 응. Yeah, instead of going, on an English keyboard, it's DMD. Instead of going like that, you can just type 영 twice, DD twice, and it'll mean the same thing because it doesn't mean anything else. So 나 오늘 진짜 화나는 날이야. You don't read it like that, but if you want to read it, you can say you, especially when you are describing a certain text message. 선아는 일이 끝나자마자 집으로 왔어요. So and so 자마자, as soon as. This is a common grammar structure that you will learn. 끝나자마자. So 일이 끝나요. The work finishes. As soon as work finished, 집으로 왔어요. She came home. 집으로 왔어요. You can say 집에 왔어요 as well. 집으로 왔어요. Because of this directional marker, it means you came, in the direction of home. It shows the direction a little more clearly, but the translation is the same. 집으로 왔어요. 집에 오니까. It doesn't mean because she came home. It means she came home and then what happened was 식탁 위에. 식탁 is your dinner table. 식탁. 식 is eating. 탁 is table. 식탁. Okay? 위에, on top of the 식탁, 초코 케이크가 있었어요. A long time ago, maybe 30 years ago, 케이크 was spelled cake, but now the standard rule is 케이크. Okay? So you'll also see the two variations. There was a chocolate cake on top of the kitchen table, when she got home. 선아는 케이크를 한 입, one bite. Well, literally speaking, one mouth, but 한 입 here in this kind of context, it means one bite. She took a bite from the cake. 먹어봤어요. 한 입, one bite, goes really well with 먹어봤어요. 먹어봤어요. She tried eating it. 마셔봤어요. She tried drinking it. 해봤어요. I tried doing it. This 봤어요, 보다, to see, to try doing something. 해봤어요. So 입어봤어요. I tried the clothing on. Tried wearing it. So 한 입 먹어봤어요. She took a bite. 정말 맛있었어요. It was really good. 결국 is appearing for the second time today in this text. 선아는 그 케이크를 다 먹어버렸어요. And 결국 and 먹어버리다 also go really well hand in hand. 결국 버리다. She ended up doing something. She eventually ended up doing something. And it also goes really well with 다. She eventually ended up doing all of something. 결국 선아는 그 케이크를 다 먹어버렸어요. She ended up eating the whole thing. 그때, who is 영우? Her husband. 그때, at that moment. 그 is that, 때 is time. Originally two words, but because this is a fixed expression, it has become one word without a space in between. 그때, 영우가, so 그때, it was at that moment. Very commonly used expression in novels and narrations. 영우가 부엌으로 왔어요. 부엌. 부엌 is one of those rare words that have ki역 as the last syllable, right? There aren't many left, but 부엌으로 왔어요. Many people will also read it as 부엌으로 with a 기역 as well. Kitchen. She came, 영우, he came to the kitchen at that moment. 식탁 위에 케이크 못 봤어? So, something is omitted here. The same thing. 식탁 위에 있던 케이크 못 봤어? So, did you see or didn't you see a cake on top of the kitchen table? But that was on top of the kitchen table. 식탁 위에 있던 케이크 못 봤어? There was a cake here. Did you see it? Did you not see it? And in English, you will often say, did you see or did you happen to see something in a positive statement or question? But in Korean, whenever you're looking for something, it's very common for people to say, 못 봤어? Haven't you seen it? Like this. 케이크 봤어 also works, but it's more common to ask a question like this when you're looking for something. 리모컨 못 봤어? Have you seen my remote? In English, yes, you don't see. Haven't you seen? Because it sounds a little more accusative that way, but in Korean, it's way more common to ask with a negative question. 안 봤어? In this case, 안 보다, if you say 안 봤어, it only refers to watching TV shows or movies. 그 영화 안 봤어? You didn't see that movie? How did you not see something? K-pop Demon Hunters or something like that. 안 봤어? Because it was your choice not to watch it. But when you are looking for something, it's not the other person's choice not to find something. Maybe it wasn't easily visible. So it's usually just 못 봤어. There are many phrases like that in Korean where you expect to hear 안 so-and-so, but it's 못 so-and-so. Okay. 그거, that, about that, 내가 다 먹었어. I ate it all. 너무 맛있어서. It was so good. And then the husband, I think he scores a point here because he's not getting angry. 그래? You did? 잘했어. Good job. Well done. 잘했어. All right. So this was the first portion of today's story. Let's go back to the app and actually take the quiz together. All right. So this is what we read together. We're going to go to the quiz tab, or you can actually click over here. No, not here, because it shows up like this because I already read the story before. You can go to the quiz tab and check. 선아는 기분 좋은 아침을 보냈어요. Let's see if we can actually get a full score on this. All right. 기분 좋은? 아니에요. 기분 나쁜 아침을 보냈어요. Correct, I hope. 선아는 차 사고가 났어요. Yeah, there was an accident. 영우는 선아의 남편이에요? 친구예요? 직원이에요? 영우는 선아의 남편이에요. 맞아요, 남편. Correct. 맞는 것을 고르세요. Choose the correct statement. 선아는 회사에서 케이크를 먹었어요. She ate the cake at work in the company. 선아는 초코 케이크를 다 먹었어요. She ate the whole chocolate cake. 영우는 선아랑 같이 케이크를 샀어요. 영우 bought the cake together with 선아. 같이 안 샀어요. Next. All right, perfect. all correct. 좋아요. And you can go to the Notes tab and see the translation. And if you click on any sentence, you can actually see the full breakdown of the grammar points. Like that. Yeah. So and so 자마자 as soon as. And then you can go to practice and then try typing 아침에 차 사고가 났어요. And yeah, save. So try writing. 여러분이 선아의 남편이라면 어떤 말을 해주고 싶나요? If you were Seon아's husband, what would you like to say? So if I were Youngwoo, I would say, how dare you eat the whole cake? 케이크를 어떻게 혼자 다 먹을 수가 있어? I wanted to eat it too. 나도. Something like that. And run away. All right. Part 2. 신기한 빵집 2. Let's pick up the pace here because we've already covered the basics of the information about the story. 근데 그 케이크 어디서 산 거야? Two kinds of contractions here. 근데 is 그런데. 그런데 is actually even contracted form of 그렇다 plus 은데. Yeah, so it's kind of like 그러한데. This is actually older Korean, and you will see 그러한데 in history dramas and movies. You will notice that if you watch other shows. 그 케이크 어디서? This one is also shortened from 어디에서. If you try saying, 어디 is where, 에서 is the location marker. 어디에서 really quickly. 어디에서, it becomes 어디서. And 그거, that one, 집 앞에 새로 생긴 빵집에서 산 거야. So two things I want to emphasize here. 새로 생긴 and 산 거야. So first, 새로 생긴. 새로 is not only the name of a soju brand, as you know, but also a very commonly used expression in Korean when you're talking about new things, new. So a new bakery. There are mainly two ways to say something new, 새 and 새로운. 새 is just more plain, and 새로운 is it's brand new. It's more new than new, maybe. It's brand new and it's more special that way, 새로운. But when you're talking about something that just popped up, something somebody built, a new store they opened, and stuff like that, 새 가게 doesn't sound very sufficient. 새로운 가게 doesn't also sound sufficient enough. 새로 생긴 가게. 새로 is newly. I know newly isn't as commonly used inside of the English language as the Korean equivalent, but 새로 is so commonly used. 새로 생긴. 새로 산 신발. So using 새로, newly, with the verb in its past tense adjective form with another noun. Again, newly bought store, newly opened store, newly bought shoes. This expresses the dynamic between all the words a little better and contains more information. 새로 산 신발, 새로 쓴 책. So instead of saying your new book or my new book, you say my newly written book. 새로 찾은 cafe. Here's a new cafe I found. It's not new. The cafe has been around for a long time, but it just shows your relationship with the cafe. Did the cafe exist 1 year ago? Yes. But did you find it recently? Yes. So newly found cafe. So 새로 생긴. It's such a commonly used structure. 새로 생긴, 새로 발견한. Exactly 타니까 새로 발견한 노래. 산 거야. So this 은 거야 is a story ending kind of sentence. You could have said 집 앞에 새로 생긴 빵집에서 샀어. That's more plain. That's more, I guess, simple. But 산 거야, it's a narrative form. 그래? Really? 나 원래 originally is the literal translation, but normally is often the natural translation with 원래. 케이크 별로 안 좋아하잖아. You know that I normally don't like cakes that much. 그런데, but 이 케이크는, as for this cake, 정말 맛있었어. It was really good. And 그리고 기분이 좋아졌어. 기분이 좋다. To feel good. 기분이 좋아지다. 좋아지다 because it means to become so and so. To start feeling good. So after eating the cake, you started feeling good. 또 먹고 싶어. I want to eat it again. 그 케이크는, so this one is interesting. This is a quoted sentence. 그 케이크는 화가 나는 날에 먹는 빵이래. So what makes this sentence and also many quoting reported speech sentences in Korean interesting is because you don't know until the end that it's a reported speech sentence. So 그 케이크는 화가 나는 날에, that cake is 화가 나는 날, on a day when you are angry, 먹는 빵, a kind of bread that you eat on an angry day. You could have ended the sentence like 빵이야. So 그 케이크는 화가 나는 날에 먹는 빵이야. If you just say it like that, it's something that you know for a fact. It's you speaking. 그 케이크는 화가 나는 날에 먹는 빵이야. You eat that cake or you eat that cake on an angry day. But 이래 is 이 빵이라고 해. 빵이래. It's shortened to 빵이래 like that. The reported speech, we have a full lesson on that in our curriculum. 주인 아저씨가 그렇게 말했어. The owner 아저씨 guy said it like that. 주인 아저씨, 빵집 주인 아저씨. 네가 오늘 화가 많이 나는 날이라고 했잖아. You said that today was 화가 많이 나는 날, a very angry day. 그래서 사왔어. So I bought it. I personally don't call my wife or address my wife as 네가, even though she's younger. 내가 is the spelling, 네가 is the pronunciation, as you know. It really depends on the couple and the way they address each other. But in this case, it's not something that I would say no to my spouse, but it's okay here because it's all personal preference and he's being extra sweet by bringing the cake home and stuff, so it's all good. And 맞아. 케이크를 먹으니까 진짜 기분이 좋아졌어. After eating the cake made me feel really good. 신기해. So we are seeing 신기해 used in the context for the first time apart from the title. 신기해. what's the difference between 내가 and 내가? Meaning is more clearly understandable. 내가 is I as the subject. You as the subject. Let me try and say the two. So please pay attention to the pronunciation difference. Originally, okay, this one is 내 with a more open mouth. 내가. And this one is more closed vowel. 내가. Kind of imagine the 내 vowel being pronounced a little further ahead. The sound is being made with I. The sound is being made kind of here, inside your mouth. 내가. It's kind of here, and then 내가. It's further up front. 내가. But since the distinction is not so big, people started using it differently. Just people started saying 네가. So still, even in standard Korean, even to this day, 내 이름, if you watch Netflix shows and turn on subtitles, you will see your name, 내 이름, but it's always pronounced as 네 이름. Okay? Wow. 2 super chat comments. Thank you so much, guys. Salias, this is such an amazing channel. I've been really interested in learning Korean ever since I was there with the US Army back in 2016. Just always made excuses about not having time. Thank you for everything you are doing to teach Korean. Okay, thank you so much. I was just reading the comment. I really appreciate the support. 감사합니다. I hope you can find more time and learn more Korean in the future. 시간을 더 내서 배우실 수 있으면 좋겠습니다. Yeah, keeping the interest level high is the most important thing, and that way you will learn it more naturally. 한국인들은 케이크보다 케이크이라고 많이 말하지 않나? Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but cake is the standard spelling. So yeah, but people say it both ways. And then Sarah, 감사합니다. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you so much. 그리고 yeah, Marilu, you could hear the difference. Let me say the 2 versions one more time. 내가. Okay? The pronunciation is a little further up ahead. All right. 맞아. 케이크를 먹으니까 진짜 기분이 좋아졌어. 신기해. So that was the last line we covered. And 다음 날, next day, 다음 날 선아는 어제 먹은 초코 케이크, the chocolate cake that she ate yesterday, 자꾸 생각났어요. 자꾸 is a fun word. 자꾸. Repeatedly. Yeah, 자꾸, again and again. 자꾸. People often repeat this twice. 자꾸 생각났어요. It just kept coming back to her. She kept remembering the chocolate cake she ate yesterday. 그래서 일이 끝나자마자 we see 자마자 once again 영우가 말한 that 영우 talked about 빵집에 갔어요. She went to the bakery. 빵집 is basically bread house, right? 빵집. So there are many businesses or business types that are called so-and-so 집. 꽃집, flower plus house, flower shop, okay, etc. 빵집에 갔어요. 하지만 어제 그 초코 케이크는 없었어요. One thing that is omitted here, a contraction, is 어제의. That chocolate cake of yesterday. is the original form, I guess. But people don't necessarily say 어제의 because it sounds too written language like. 어제 그 초코 케이크는 없었어요. It wasn't there. And then the owner of the bakery says, 오늘은, as for today, 그 초코 케이크가 없어요. The chocolate cake isn't here. 다 팔렸어요. It's all sold out. 팔다, to sell. 팔리다, to be sold. Passive voice. Okay, 팔리다. And then 다 팔리다. It's all sold. So, sold out. 다 팔렸어요. 매진이에요. Sold out. You will often see sold out written in English, of course, but people say it's sold out 됐어요. I personally think it's better to just use the native Korean expression, but English is kind of infiltrating into the Korean language more and more. So people do say sold out입니다. sold out 됐어요. Oh, this one is interesting. sold out. So sold out is already in the passive voice, and people say the passive voice of 됐어요. So it has been sold out. It would be the translation. Oh, why is it okay, why is it written like 케이크는 없었어요 instead of 케이크가 없었어요? Good question. 하지만 어제 그 케이크가 없었어요. Well, both are possible, but these two versions will sound a little different. So let me actually talk a little bit about that. 하지만 어제 그, let's simplify that. 하지만 그 케이크가 없었어요. Here, in this sentence, it means, oh, am I buffering? Okay. I think I'm back. So, 하지만 어제 그 케이크가 없었어요. If you say it this way, because you're using the subject marker, you are only talking about the cake. So you are looking for the cake is not there. That's it. But if you say 그 케이크는 없었어요, because it's the topic marker 는, 어제 그 케이크는 없었어요 means there are other types of bread, there are other types of baked goods and pastries, but just not the cake. Everything else is there. There are other kinds. But as for that cake, it's missing. So it emphasizes the deficiency a little more, the absence a little more. 어제 그 케이크는 없었어요. I see lemon cake, I see, I don't know, green tea cake, but not the chocolate cake. So it adds just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit of, I guess, drama. That's why. It's all about the small, differences, right? 선아는 아무 빵이나 샀어요. 선아는, she just bought any bread. Just any. 아무. 그런데 맛이 없었어요. But it wasn't tasty. 어제 먹은 그 초코 케이크만큼 맛있는 빵이 없네. So 없네 is the ending that you use. So and so 네 is when you are realizing something. You're experiencing and realizing something yourself. 없네. Oh, it's not as tasty as the chocolate cake I had yesterday. All right. Great. So we just finished the second portion of the story, and we're going to go back into the app and read or do the quiz. So 신기한 빵집, portion number 2. So if you're just joining, this is our Talk to Me in Korean Stories app, and inside the Stories app, you can see various texts of various levels, and then we just finished studying with this, and this is the quiz section. 선아는 원래 케이크를 좋아해요? This is a little tricky. So in passing, she briefly mentioned that 나 원래 케이크 안 좋아하잖아. You know, I normally don't like cake. Oh, I'm glad I'm right. Okay. 케이크는 새로 생긴 빵집에서 샀어요. 케이크는 새로 생긴 빵집에서 샀어요. The cake, the subject as to who bought it is omitted here. They bought it in the new bakery. Yes. 영우는 무슨 케이크를 샀어요? What kind of cake did 영우 buy? 슬픈 날에 먹는 케이크. 기분 좋은 날에 먹는 케이크. 화가 나는 날에 먹는 케이크. Okay. 화가 나는 날에 먹는 케이크. Let me actually screenshot this and then talk about it a little later because it's interesting. And then, okay. And then 선아는 왜 초코 케이크를 사지 않았어요? Why did she not buy the chocolate cake? 초코 케이크가 다 팔려서 주인 아저씨가 화가 나서 다른 빵을 먹고 싶어서. The chocolate cake was sold out. The owner of the bakery was angry. She wanted to eat another kind of bread. 다 팔려서. Let's check our answers. 4 out of 4. Great. And you can go to the notes and then see the translation and see the grammar breakdown here. All right. Back to the text screen. So here, before we read the third portion, which is our final portion for today's live class, 슬픈 날에 먹는 케이크. I tend to kind of like to emphasize it, but I am thinking about some content or lessons, specific lessons about the flexibility of Korean sentences, or, I mean, we all know that Korean sentences are flexible, but how to achieve flexibility in your own Korean sentences. So I've been thinking and doing some research about that, but this is a good example. If you look at the first part, 슬픈 날에 먹는 케이크. If you imagine, use your imagination and think cake, eating something, it works. Cake that is eating something on a sad day. But you know that it's not a normal situation. So even though 먹는 is the same, it can be that you eat or that is eating, that eats, or even to eat, that they eat. It can be many, many things depending on the context and the surrounding words. All right. The more you are flexible with this connecting part of Korean sentences, the more fluent you will be in your Korean sentences. And then you can even change the meaning of your whole sentence mid-sentence. You kind of switch back to the other direction and talk about something you do or something it does, etc. Yeah, it's conveniently expressed through this passive voice, like Tanika wrote, a cake eaten on a sad day in English. Perfect. Let's move on to our third portion, 신기한 빵집, part 3. 세 번째 이야기. 그때, okay, so she went to the bakery and came home and she didn't find anything that she found very tasty there because the chocolate cake that she really enjoyed on the first day wasn't there anymore. 그때, at that moment, in that moment, 영우가 피곤한 얼굴로 집에 돌아왔어요. So this one is also very useful. 영우가 집에 돌아왔어요. But with what kind of face? 피곤한 얼굴로. With a tired face. With a tired look on his face. 피곤한 얼굴로. 왔어? 피곤하지? 왔어 is You here? It's more like hey. But in Korean, you often say 왔어. When our kids come home and I'm home and my wife is home, we say, oh, 왔어. We say the name of our kids in front of it. Our boys are called 준이 or Chun and Yul. And as you know, after a Korean name, you add this extra syllable because if you don't, it sounds like you are speaking another language. Hey Jun, hey Yul. So we say 준이 왔어? 유리 왔어? So a very, very common expression that you say to somebody who just got here. 왔어? In 존댓말, in polite Korean, you say 오셨어요? 오셨어요? Okay. 응. 요즘 회사에서 엄청 바빠서 진짜 피곤해. These days in the company, again, company, at work, 엄청 바빠서 I'm really busy. 진짜 피곤해. I'm really tired. 아무것도 안 하고 I don't want to do anything. 아무것도 안 하고 그냥 자고 싶어. I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep without doing anything. 영우는 선아가 먹고 있는 빵을 보았어요. Okay, so she was tasting the bread that she bought. She just bought any bread, 아무 빵, and then she was eating it and she's like, oh, this is not tasty. But 영우 saw her. 먹고 있는 빵을 보았어요. Here, this one. Why is it 보았어요 and not 봤어요? You may wonder. 보았어요, 봤어요. This one is more common in spoken Korean, written Korean even, if you are texting somebody, 봤어요, everyday Korean, so to speak. But 보았어요 is more common in novels, written stories like this, 보았어요, because it's just more clearly written. 봤어요 is basically just a contraction of 보았어요, right? So in storybooks, you will see 보았어요. Okay. 그 빵은 뭐야? What's that bread? 어제 그 빵집에서 사온 거야? Did you buy that from that bakery from yesterday? Again, what's omitted is 어제의. Okay, let me explain this. I think it's a minor thing, but also still important because understanding that it's originally 어제의, this kind of attention to detail will make you become way more proficient with sentence building, and in the future when you make really, really complex sentences, you will make sure that there are no small things missing. So here, without understanding that it's from yesterday, of yesterday, this can just look like, did you buy the bread yesterday? When did she buy the bread? Today, not yesterday. If you just think that 어제 means yesterday, oh, yesterday did you buy the bread from that bakery? It's not correct, right? 어제의, of yesterday. 의 is being omitted. Always be looking for the missing parts that are omitted or hidden parts, okay? 응, 그런데 어제 그 초코 케이크만큼, we're seeing this for the second time here, as much as, it's not as tasty as that chocolate cake. Again, 어제의, of yesterday, it's omitted. In everyday spoken Korean, it's very rarely said or pronounced like that, but it's good to understand that it's there, kind of in spirit. 그래, 나도 한번 먹어볼래. 나도 한번 먹어볼래. I want to try eating it. Remember earlier when she took a bite from the cake? 한 입, one bite, one mouthful. This had a space in between, 한 입, but 한 번, although it's the same structure, same principle, but it's so commonly used that it became one word. Especially when you are trying something. Okay? 한 번 is one time, once, right? 한 번 만났어요. We met once, not twice. In that case, because you're actually counting the number of times that you did something, it's 한 and 번. But 한 번, as one word without space, it means you're trying. So just by, when it's correctly written, just by looking at this word, you know that it is about trying something for experience. 그 빵은 너무 맛있었어요. So the same bread that 선아 found not to be very tasty, 영우 found it to be really, really tasty. 영우는 정말 피곤했는데, 영우 was really tired. 빵을 먹으니까 괜찮아진 것 같았어요. It felt like he became okay. 빵을 먹으니까. So this 으니까 is appearing for the third time or second time already, third or fourth time. Once you do something, the result happens. 빵을 먹으니까 냉장고, your refrigerator, 문을 여니까 시원했어요. It felt cool. 노래를 하니까 because you sang, or once you started singing, you felt good, etc. So you do something, and then as a result, you're seeing something happening. 그러니까 이 빵 너무 맛있어. This bread is so good. 그래, 많이 먹어. Eat a lot of it. 내가 내일 퇴근할 때, 퇴근, the opposite of 출근 is appearing here. 내가 내일 퇴근할 때 또 사올게. I will buy more. I'll buy it again when I leave work or when I'm on my way home from work. 퇴근하다 is just one verb. Come home from work. 영우는 그 빵을 다 먹었어요. 영우 ate the whole bread. 와, 기분이 너무 좋아. I feel great. 선아, thank you. 그래? 신기하네. 신기하네. One more time. The second time after the titles. 나도 어제 빵을 먹고 기분이 좋아졌거든. So yesterday technically it was cake, not bread, but still in Korean cake is still in the general category of bread because it's made with 밀가루, flour. I think the word 밀가루 is funny because 밀가루 basically just literally means wheat powder. That's what it is, right? Powdered wheat, 밀가루. 밀가루, no, 밀가루. And 그 빵집에서 파는 빵을 먹으면 기분이 좋아지나 봐. I guess so and so 하나 봐 is I guess so and so. 기분이 좋아지나 봐. I guess you feel good, feel better. If you eat bread, that's sold at that bakery. Okay? 그런데 선아 너는 오늘 기분이 좋아지지 않았잖아. But 선아, you didn't feel better after eating the same bread. What's happening? So that's what's 신기해 about this bakery. All right. Johanna 님, thank you for sticking with us until 2:15 a.m. in your country. Have a good night. And you can come back to watch the recording. So, all right, let's go to the quiz and then see if we can get everything right. 신기한 빵집, portion 3. So we read this story and then let's go to the quiz. 영우는 오늘도 빵을 먹지 못했어요. So on the first day, Sana ate everything, so 영우 didn't get a bite of that cake. 오늘도 빵을 먹지 못했어요? Not true. He did have some bread. 선아는 오늘 먹은 빵도 초코 케이크만큼 맛있었어요. Sana found today's bread as tasty as the chocolate cake? No. not as tasty. 영우의 오늘 기분은 어때요? How is 영우 feeling today? 화가 나요? Angry? 괜찮아요? Okay? 피곤해요? Tired? 피곤해요. 영우는 집에 오면 무엇을 하고 싶었어요? What did 영우 want to do once he gets home? 잠을 자고 싶었어요. He wanted to sleep. 빵집에 가고 싶었어요. He wanted to go to the bakery. 맛있는 음식을 먹고 싶었어요. He wanted to eat something delicious. 잠을 자고 싶었어요. Yes, all correct. Amazing. And this one also has notes and grammar breakdown here. And you can also practice it. 영우는 왜 피곤했나요? 여러분은 피곤할 때 어떻게 기분을 바꾸나요? Alright. Perfect. So, today we read this story, 신기한 빵집. So if you want to find out what happens in the story, keep reading until part 10 because that's when everything kind of comes into place. It's a fun story, a strange story, if you ask me what I think about it. Some questions, all right? So keep your questions coming. I will answer as many questions as I possibly can before I go. But let me really quickly read everything that we read together in my own voice, okay? You can listen to the voice actor's voice in the app and try it for free for 7 days and see if you like it. I hope you like it. I think you will like it. Okay. 신기한 빵집. 선아는 아주 기분 나쁜 아침을 보냈어요. 아침에는 알람을 듣지 못해서 늦게 일어났어요. 회사에 늦지 않으려고 운전을 빨리 하다가 사고가 났어요. 그리고 결국 회사에 늦게 출근했어요. 그래서 다른 사람들이 선아의 일을 대신 해줘야 했어요. 선아는 너무 미안하고 속상했어요. 사고 때문에 차를 고쳐야 해서 화도 났어요. 빨리 집에 가서 쉬고 싶었어요. 선아는 남편 영우에게 메시지를 보냈어요. 나 오늘 진짜 화나는 날이야. 선아는 일이 끝나자마자 집으로 왔어요. 집에 오니까 식탁 위에 초코 케이크가 있었어요. 선아는 케이크를 한 입 먹어보았어요. 정말 맛있었어요. 결국 선아는 그 케이크를 다 먹어버렸어요. 그때 영우가 부엌으로 왔어요. 식탁 위에 케이크 못 봤어? 아, 그거 내가 다 먹었어. 너무 맛있어서. 그래? 잘했어. 신기한 빵집 2. 두 번째. 근데 그 케이크 어디서 산 거야? 그거 집 앞에 새로 생긴 빵집에서 산 거야. 그래? 나 원래 케이크 별로 안 좋아하잖아. 그런데 이 케이크는 정말 맛있었어. 그리고 기분이 좋아졌어. 또 먹고 싶어. 그 케이크는 화가 나는 날에 먹는 빵이래. 주인 아저씨가 그렇게 말했어. 네가 오늘 화가 많이 나는 날이라고 했잖아. 그래서 사왔어. 맞아. 케이크를 먹으니까 진짜 기분이 좋아졌어. 신기해. 다음 날 선아는 어제 먹은 초코 케이크가 자꾸 생각났어요. 그래서 일이 끝나자마자 영우가 말한 빵집에 갔어요. 하지만 어제 그 초코 케이크는 없었어요. 아, 오늘은 그 초코 케이크가 없어요. 다 팔렸어요. 선아는 아무 빵이나 샀어요. 그런데 맛이 없었어요. 어제 먹은 그 초코 케이크만큼 맛있는 빵이 없네. 그때 영우가 피곤한 얼굴로 집에 돌아왔어요. 왔어? 피곤하지? 응, 요즘 회사에서 엄청 바빠서 진짜 피곤해. 아무것도 안 하고 그냥 자고 싶어. 영우는 선아가 먹고 있는 빵을 보았어요. 그 빵은 뭐야? 어제 그 빵집에서 사온 거야? 응, 그런데 어제 그 초코 케이크만큼 맛있지 않아. 그래? 나도 한번 먹어볼래. 그 빵은 너무 맛있었어요. 영우는 정말 피곤했는데 빵을 먹으니까 괜찮아진 것 같았어요. 이 빵 너무 맛있어. 그래? 많이 먹어. 내가 내일 퇴근할 때 또 사올게. 영우는 그 빵을 다 먹었어요. 와, 기분이 너무 좋아. 선아야, 고마워. 그래? 신기하네. 나도 sorry. First mistake. 그래, 신기하네. 어제 나도 빵을 먹고 기분이 좋아졌거든. 그 빵집에서 파는 빵을 먹으면 기분이 좋아지나 봐. 그런데 선아, 너는 오늘 기분이 좋아지지 않았잖아. So that's the story. Some questions? 그 빵집 어디에 있어요? I don't know. It's in the story. I wish I could find a bakery like that. 그리고 맞아요. 컬로케이션. 이건 진짜 중요한 코멘트인 것 같습니다. 보세요. 컬로케이션은 이거는 사실은 콜로케이션, together, location, placed. Words that are frequently used together, right? Sorry. In Korean, 함께 자주 쓰이는 말들, 함께 자주 쓰이는 단어들, or 연어 is a technical term. Some teachers will know what it means. It's a translation of collocation, but because 연어 is the fish, salmon, it's not commonly used in everyday speech, but it is really important to learn these collocations. Every language has tons of collocations, but with the Korean language as well, because there are so many different alternative options that you can choose for the same meaning. I think it's especially true in the Korean language. Earlier we had many, for example, bakery. You know, even bakery is bakery, 빵집, 제과점, right? These three. And when do you use each word, and with what word is it better to use which word? So, for example, 영향력, somebody's influence, somebody's influential power. 영향력을, can anybody in the chat tell me what's the best verb, what's the most commonly used verb for somebody's influence? 영향력을. So if you can fill in the blank for this, you know you have an advanced level of vocabulary. 영향력을, so and so. So 영향력을 발휘하다, use your influence. Yeah. 내다 is a good guess. 영향력을, yeah, 발휘하다. Something like that. 발휘하다 is to use your influence, use your power. So collocations are really important, and reading stories and watching stuff and seeing new words in context is a great way to naturally learn them. Chantel Wensley says, I've been wanting to learn for years. I start and then I get overwhelmed and I know I don't have anyone to talk with in Korean. You're going to try again? Yes, please try again. If you are looking for study buddies, you can find a lot of people, fellow learners in our community on our website. All the links will be in the description. And Kaito, when do I pronounce 의 as 의 versus 에? Okay. Good question. Thank you. 의, 의사, 의자. When it's in front of the word, at the beginning of a word, as the first syllable, it's often pronounced as 의. And 의, 제의. Where do we have 의? 선아의, 선아의. Okay, 선아의. In this case, in everyday speech, 선아의 일을, 선아의. It's more commonly pronounced as 에. But if you are a narrator, a voice actor, and you want to be precise, 선아의. In a documentary narration, maybe 선아의. But yeah, so my answer is it's really, really flexible. Where do I have that? Where are the questions? 여기 위에 있었죠? Yeah. When it's used as of, it's very, very commonly pronounced as 에. So at first, if you're not sure, just pronounce it as 의. I think everybody will understand it like that. But if you pronounce 의 as 에, when you're supposed to say 의, people will find it difficult to understand. So I think it's safer to say 의 every single time. And then if you notice that a native speaker just says 에, mimic it. Okay? 느라, 느라. So and so 하느라, 보느라, 가느라. So it's you're like too busy doing something and you can't do another thing. It's usually like that. So 전화 왜 안 받았어? 공부하느라 몰랐어. Why didn't you answer my phone call? 공부하느라. I was busy studying, so I didn't know. So 느라 is used in that specific situation. Okay. Is Joe saying right? Yes. 지요. 지요 is shortened to 조. And this 지 is, you know this fact that I am mentioning, right? So it's not just 조, it's 지. So in 반말, casual language, people say 지. 이거 맛있지? This one is tasty, right? 맛있죠? Thank you everyone for joining today. We're going to call it a lesson. This was fun. And we just looked at our stories from our app, Talk to Me in Korean Stories. I hope you try it yourself. And I'll be back with another live class sooner than later. We don't have a fixed schedule yet, but as soon as we know, we'll post it on the posts, in the posts tab here on YouTube, as well as on our social media channels. All right, thank you so much. Please feel free to come back for reviewing later on, and I'll talk to you very soon. 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 만나요. Bye.